Welcome to Light Her Up, your go-to podcast for exploring what it means to align with your passions and create a life filled with freedom, ease, and fulfillment. I'm your host, Natalie Bernacchi, a mom, entrepreneur, and certified coach who left a 15-year corporate career to build a life aligned with my passions and help other women do the same. We'll be diving deep into topics like self-discovery, mindset shifts, and the courage to pursue the life you've always dreamed of. Thank you for being here and for prioritizing yourself. I'm honored to be a part of your journey. If you're ready to find your joy, reclaim your identity, and upgrade your life, you're in the right place. Now let's light it up. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Light Her Up. Today, I'm recording this podcast from a hotel room in Costa Mesa, California. It's not too far from where I live, so I'm calling it a staycation. But my husband was traveling most of February. He was gone for 3 of the 4 weeks in February, and I needed a break. Oh my goodness, it was a lot. I mean, he travels a lot for work, but never for 3 out of the 4 weeks. And it was a really, really big test. So for you moms out there who are carrying most of the load, whether you're a single mom, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you work full-time and take care of the kids, it's hard. Being a mom is hard. And when you don't have help, it's so hard. So if you're able to take a break every once in a while, it's truly recharging. It's okay to say, I need help, or I need alone time, or I need a break. I feel like I'm going to come back on Monday and just feel recharged, having a lot more capacity and bandwidth to take care of my kids and deal with their little, their big emotions, I want to say, for little kids, because it's hard when you are past your bandwidth and when you are burnt out. So if you needed to hear that, or if you needed that permission, that's for you. Take the time that you need. You're doing amazing and you deserve a break. So yes, I'm recording from this hotel room, and as much as I thought it was going to be really quiet, I hear doors shutting, kids laughing, people talking in the hallway, people's TVs on. So apologies in advance if there is any background noise. But I'm going to lead by example and take the messy action and go live with this anyway. So today we're diving into fear. The thing that keeps us stuck, the thing that holds us back from our dreams and convinces us that we're safer staying exactly where we are. But the truth, everything you want, your joy, your business, your freedom, your highest self, it's waiting for you on the other side of fear. So we're going to talk about the real cost of staying the same and not taking action, how fear-based decision-making holds us back and keeps us trapped, what happens when you finally trust fall into your next level, and how to recognize fear in your body and stop letting it lead your life. So this episode is for you if you've ever thought, what if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if I invest in myself or in my business and it doesn't work? If fear has been showing up and running the show, this is your wake-up call. Now, before we dive into today's episode, I have something special for you. If you've been dreaming of starting or growing your own business, but you feel like fear is really holding you back, you're not alone. Most women don't stay stuck because they lack a great idea. They stay stuck because they overthink, they doubt themselves, and they believe it's safer to wait. But staying stuck is the riskiest thing that you can do. So that's why I created the Confident Mompreneur, a step-by-step guide to break free from everything holding you back from starting the business of your dreams. This guide will help you rewire fear based thoughts, break through limiting beliefs, and start showing up as the CEO of your own life. By the end of the guide, you'll have the confidence to take your first bold step toward that business of your dreams. So download your free copy now. The link is waiting for you in the show notes. And now let's dive into today's episode. So we often think fear is protecting us, and that is exactly what it's trying to do. You know, our good old friend, our subconscious, it creates fear to keep us safe, to keep us in the comfort zone, and to avoid risks at all costs. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what is fear actually costing me? It wasn't until I flipped the script and asked myself, what is this fear actually costing me? That's when I realized, holy shit, there's actually a cost to me staying in this safe zone. And then I started questioning, is this safe zone even really safe? I let fear make my decisions. I thought it was protecting me all along, but in reality, it was keeping me small. And I don't want a small life. I want a big, big, big life. Honestly, my entire life, up until a year ago when I was 38 years old, I had a lot of fear and I let that fear lead my life. I mean, we're talking going way back to when I was a kid and my dad would take us to Six Flags. Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. I would never go on the roller coaster rides. And I remember him saying, "Come on, Natalie, there's nothing you need to be scared about. Let's do it." And he would like talk me up the whole time in the line, and I just wouldn't do it. And I would wait in all the lines. I would get so stressed out. I would get so worked up. And then I would tell myself, like I'd convince myself that I was going to do it. I would eventually get to that point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then we get to the platform where you get on the ride and I wouldn't do it. So many rides, I waited on that platform for my dad and my brother and whoever else went with us to go on the ride and come back, and they looked like they had so much fun. And I just wouldn't do it out of fear. There were a lot of things that I didn't do out of fear. And years later, it really caused me to feel regretful about a lot of things and a lot of decisions that I made or didn't make. A lot of problems and relationships that I didn't face head on or properly close the door because I was scared to face it. So I just ran away from it. For years, I stayed in a corporate job that drained me. You guys, over a decade. For years, I stayed stuck because it felt safer than the unknown. But here's what I didn't realize back then. Staying the same is not neutral. It's a choice that comes with a cost, a big cost. And what you're not changing, you're choosing. Let me repeat that again. What you're not changing, you're choosing. So similarly to what we talked about on the last episode, I started to take action. I actually have a quote in my room that's framed, and it's on a piece of scratch paper that was on my grandmother's refrigerator. And I found it after she passed away. And it says, "The 3 C's life: choices, chances, changes. You must take a chance to make a choice or your life will never change." And that quote really resonated with me. And it's so true. So I framed it, and now I look at it every day, and I really strive to embody that to its core. And I realized that there was a cost if I continued to keep doing what I was doing and not change something about it. If I didn't take the chance to make the choice, my life would never change. The cost was missing out on time with my kids. And if you really think about it, kids are only kids for such a short part of the entire journey. The cost was spending another day, another month, another year feeling burned out, resentful, and filled with blame. The cost was continuous tension and stress at home because I was so stressed out and unhappy, and I was letting it bleed into every aspect of my life. The cost was my fulfillment, my purpose, my mental health, my happiness. I realized that the cost of not leaving my job and pursuing my dream of starting my own business meant spending another year feeling disconnected from my purpose and not being able to help countless women launch their businesses for the same reason. Was I scared about potentially losing a really damn good salary and starting a business with barely any revenue coming in? Hell yes, I was. But I was finally able to trust in myself and realize that the cost of not leaving my job and going for my dream was actually greater than me taking the leap itself. Because guess what? If it didn't work out, what was the worst case scenario? I go get another job that I'm not super fulfilled with. It was the same thing I was doing. It wasn't any worse. It was the same thing I was doing. Another example was the cost of not hiring a business coach was wasting more time trying to figure it out all alone. Instead of spinning my wheels, I was able to take the fast track and learn from those who had done it before me. Was I nervous and scared about making an investment in a coach to help me when I didn't actually have income coming in? Fuck yes, I was. I didn't have the money to support me paying for it yet. But I knew that if I wanted to get my business off the ground, I needed help. And ultimately, I knew the help that I got from a coach would end up paying me back tenfold that investment, and it would be the best thing that I ever did for myself. I realized that the cost of making fear-based decisions was preventing me from ever stepping into the version of myself that I was meant to be. I've lived in California since 2012. And do you know when I started making friends here? The last few years. Literally, it took me over 10 years to put myself out there because I was scared. I was scared to enter a new group of people. What if they didn't like me? What if I didn't vibe with them? What if? The fear was trying to protect me from these potential made up outcomes. Yes, they were made up. So if I didn't go to these events or meetups with new people, I would never have to get my feelings hurt because they'd never have the chance to not like me. And guess what? This past year, I made a huge effort to put myself out there, to attend networking events, women's circles, communities of female founders, and I have met so many incredible women. It's not only led me to real friendships that have brought so much joy in my life, but has also brought me together with a friend and a business partner where we launched an in-person mastermind. And there was such a tremendous response that we sold out our first one and started a second one, not even a month after the first launch because so many women wanted to join. If I didn't put myself out there, if I didn't go to that women's gathering because I was scared of what other people would think of me, other people not liking me, I would have never met my friend Emily. And I would have never been able to help her launch this mastermind. And 30 women in our community wouldn't be getting the support, accountability, and growth opportunity that this mastermind is providing them with. So think about that. And let me ask you, what is fear costing you right now? Fear doesn't just show up when we don't take action. It also shows up in our decisions. Saying no to investing in your business because you're scared you won't make it back. Holding on to control because you don't trust that things will work out. Overthinking, people pleasing, waiting for the perfect moment that, by the way, never comes. When you make decisions from fear, you're not expanding, you're contracting. You're pulling back, you're shrinking, you're playing small, convincing yourself that staying in your comfort zone is the safest option. Let me tell you a quick story. So years ago, before kids, I had a health and fitness blog and I created high protein meals. I would share the recipes, photograph the food, and post it all on my website, all online. It was something I loved to do, and I had a dream of making it my full-time business. I put a ton of effort into it, but that's all it stayed, was a dream. I never put myself out there. I never hired resources like a coach or a mentor or someone who had already done what I did for help. I never collaborated or made friends with similar people on the same journey, and I never asked for support. I never invested in my business. That version of me told myself, oh, I'll just figure it out on my own. And years passed. She stayed stuck, spinning her wheels, overwhelmed with launching a business because that version of me had no real strategy. I literally took myself out of the game before I even started playing. And meanwhile, the bloggers I followed on Instagram, the ones who took action, made investments in their business, and bet on themselves, they actually made it. They now have full-time careers doing exactly what I wanted to do. And what did I have? Regret. And what about the mom who dreamed of launching her own business but needed everything to be perfect before starting? She kept tweaking her website, reworking her logo, re-recording her videos, but never published the website, never shared the videos because she was too scared that they weren't perfect. And if they weren't perfect, well, then it wouldn't be successful. No one would watch them. No one would follow her. No one would buy from her. So let me tell you this. The safest option is often the thing that's keeping you stuck. When I stopped making decisions from a place of fear and started leading from trust, faith, and aligned action, everything shifted. So where are you contracting? What's one thing you know you're meant to do, but fear is keeping you from stepping into it? I want you to sit with that today. Think about what is one thing you want to do, one thing you're meant to do, and what's the story you're telling yourself? Where are you playing it safe? Now, I want you to imagine yourself 1 year from now, the version of you who said yes to her dreams, the version of you who pushed past fear and did the thing anyway, the version of you who trusted herself and made it happen. That version of you is already inside of you. The only thing standing in the way is fear. When I finally quit my corporate job, when I finally stopped overthinking and launched my coaching business, I felt free. And let me tell you, there is nothing more empowering than proving to yourself that you can do the scary thing. So I want to ask you, what would happen if you let go of the fear and you trusted yourself? Have you ever seen a trust fall? You know, when someone stands with their arms crossed, closes their eyes, and they lean back, fully trusting that the person behind them will catch them? My kids actually love to do this. And because we have so much trust in each other, it gets to be a lot of fun. And that's exactly what stepping into your next level feels like. Except instead of someone catching you, it's you catching yourself. So, what would happen if you stopped gripping, stopped overthinking, stopped waiting for the right time, and actually let yourself fall into the life you're meant for? Imagine where you'd be right now. If you had just trusted yourself a year ago, imagine where you'd be. If you had started that business, if you said yes to the opportunity, if you took that course, if you hired that coach, if you stopped making fear-based decisions and finally bet on yourself, how different would your life look? Now, fast forward 1 year from today. Will you be looking back at this moment, grateful that you finally took the leap? Or will you still be in the same place? The difference between those two realities, it's the moment you decide to trust yourself. So next time you're hesitating on a decision, ask yourself, am I holding back because of fear? Or am I holding back because it's not truly aligned? Fear will tell you you're not ready. Trust will tell you you're made for this. Fear will make you contract, stay small, and play safe. And trust will make you expand, step forward, and bet on yourself. When you take that trust fall, you start seeing the opportunities that were always there, but you were just too scared to go after them. You gain momentum, confidence, and you gain proof that you are capable of so much more. You stop waiting and you start creating the life you want. Fear won't disappear overnight, but the more you trust yourself, the quieter it gets. And soon you realize you were never really falling. You were just learning to fly. So are you ready to take that trust fall? Start saying yes to your dreams before you feel ready. Start investing in yourself before you have it all figured out. Start trusting that the steps will appear after you take action, not before. Start knowing that fear is a normal part of growth and refusing to let it stop you. Every single woman who has built a thriving, purpose-driven life and a thriving, purpose-driven business had to take the trust fall first. There were no guarantees, no perfect plan. They just had a deep belief that what's on the other side is worth it. So how does fear show up in your body and in daily life? It isn't just a thought, it's a physical response. You might feel a tight chest, you might have racing thoughts. It shows up a lot in procrastination, like you just keep putting it off, kind of avoiding things and not really prioritizing it. You feel stuck sometimes you're unmotivated. And indecision can be draining. So a lot of times you feel drained, emotionally exhausted. A lot of times you say yes when you mean no. All my people pleasers out there, yes, you. When I feel fear creep in, I pause and ask myself, is this fear or is this my intuition? If it's fear, I move through it instead of letting it stop me. What helps me move through it is actually closing my eyes, thanking my subconscious, my little Natalie, for trying to keep me safe. I thank her for trying to protect me, and then I let her know that I don't need protection anymore, that I'm safe and I've got me. So give that a try next time and see if it helps. And remember, fear is not a sign, it's a doorway. Every successful person you admire has felt fear and taken action anyway. The cost of staying the same is higher than the cost of taking the leap. Remember, what you're not changing, you're choosing. Trusting yourself is a muscle. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And you are capable of way more than you realize. Everything you want is waiting for you on the other side of fear. So your challenge for this week, think of one thing you know you're meant to do, but fear has been holding you back. Commit to taking one small step toward it this week. And I would genuinely love to hear, either share a post or DM me at the Light Within Collective and let me know what you're stepping into. I want you to know I believe in you. You are more capable, more powerful, and more worthy than your fears want you to believe. The dream business, the freedom, the life you desire, it's already yours. You just have to step into it. You just have to take the trust fall. And don't forget to download your Confident Mompreneur Guide. You can find the link in the show notes, and let's do this together. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Light Her Up. I hope you're feeling inspired and ready to take steps towards a life better than you ever dreamed. I see you, I hear you, and I'm so proud of you for showing up and prioritizing your journey. When you fill up your cup with love, you can pour so much more into the people and passions that matter to you most. If this episode resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you subscribed, left a review, and shared it with someone who could use a little extra light. For more, check out our weekly 5-minute meditations or connect with me on Instagram at The Light Within Collective. I'm sending you my love, and I'll catch you on the next episode.